Wow, would you look at that? When you don't have proven receivers, it really affects the game by a mile. When you have receivers that can't catch the ball, it's really tough to go in there and win some games. We just saw Patrick Mahomes, and I'm saying this without any hold on it. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world. In the world. We just saw him on Thursday Night Football against the Lions struggle a bit because his receivers were letting him down. Now, me being a Giants fan, I know something about receivers letting me down. Daniel Jones knows something about receivers letting us down. When you got guys that are dropping balls, when you got guys that just aren't making plays, throwing them open, completely whiffing on it. Daniel Jones and the Giants know something about that. Us Giants fans know something about that. But you know what's crazy is that since it's Mahomes, hey, the receivers are letting him down. The receivers all game not playing well. When it's Daniel Jones, it's Daniel Jones' fault. Daniel Jones only threw for 15 touchdowns. Daniel Jones didn't even throw for 4,000 yards. Daniel Jones can't even throw for 300 yards. When his receivers aren't performing for him, Daniel Jones is the bad quarterback. That's the reason why. I even saw haters yesterday talking about, I'll get to Kadarius Toney when I get to Kadarius Toney. But they were saying Kadarius Toney can't catch because he's not used to getting passes in his hands. That's a good one. That's funny. I'm not gonna lie. But it's just funny how the media takes it. It's funny how everyone takes it. Listen, Pat Mahomes, best quarterback in the world. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is better than Pat Mahomes. Definitely not saying that. But my point is that when you have a Travis Kelce out, the guy, the best receiving threat, the best tight end in the league, let alone the best receiving threat on the team. When you have guys like that out, and you have to throw to guys like Kadarius Toney, guys like Richie James. Oh, funny you say that. Two of them used to actually play for the Giants. Two of them. Kadarius Toney didn't play for us. We talked about this in the offseason. Kadarius Toney, every time he went off on us, every time Chiefs fans, I don't know what you guys were doing with Kadarius Toney, he never played for the Giants. So listen, maybe it was better for us that he was never on the field because y'all saw what happened when he was on the field. I'll get there when I get there. Richie James, one of our best receiving threats. Man can't even catch any balls. He can't even make any plays for the Chiefs. He was our leading receiver last season in terms of catches. Come on, man. When it's Daniel Jones, the whole story's different. When it's the Giants, the whole story's different. Daniel Jones is not good. He couldn't win games with those receivers. I just saw the receivers cost Pat Mahomes a game. Yes, I'm not putting it on Pat Mahomes either. But it's just crazy that we put it on Daniel Jones, but we can't put it on him. The receivers let him down. The receivers dropped the balls. The receivers dropped the plays. They couldn't make those plays, and they lost the game. If they make a couple more plays, they win that game. If Richie James catches a couple balls, they win that game. If Kadarius Toney catches two of those drops, they win that game. But you see how important it is to have a number one wide receiver. You see how important it is to have a wide receiver that can set you guys apart and go somewhere with that wide receiver. When the going gets tough, when you don't know where to go, I can count on this receiver. Pat Mahomes couldn't do that yesterday. Pat Mahomes had no shot with any of the players that he was with. Some of them got open. Some of them just couldn't catch it. Sky Moore's another guy, but listen, I'm focusing on Giants players. I'm a Giants content creator if you didn't know. Real quick also, tomorrow night, Saturday night, we're 2 games away from game day. Saturday night, 8 p.m., I will be live talking about the schedule. So make sure you tune in if you're a Giants fan. And if you're not a Giants fan, if you're a Cowboys fan or any type of fan, we're going to be live. So join in, type up some stuff. We're going to be chilling. We're going to be vibing. And I'm excited to talk to y'all. But going back to it, Kadarius Toney, you're not exempt from this. Kadarius Toney, this whole time you've been talking, and I declined. I said, no, I'm not going to talk about Kadarius Toney no more. I'm not going to do it anymore. If he says anything else, I'm not going to do it anymore. He ended up saying something. I think when he was flicking off the Giants fans, I decided not to make a video on that. It is what it is. The last time I talked about him, when he was in a dark room, looking like a super villain, talking about the Giants. Listen, that all came back to bite you, and you know what? Kadarius Toney couldn't catch a cold yesterday. And he's getting thrown once again from the best quarterback in the world, Patrick Mahomes. And say what you want. Who knows? He can go out next week and throw up over 100 yards. But you can't sit there and tell me that Kadarius Toney didn't cost him that game. Kadarius Toney, if he didn't make that catch in the fourth quarter, that wouldn't help them win the game. You can't sit here and tell me that. Chiefs fans, let me know. Because I dropped a video on Kadarius Toney twice. And Chiefs fans, oh, he's going to be our number one wide receiver. He's going to blow up in this offense. Give him a whole offseason. Let's see what's going to happen. He missed some games. Why? Why did he miss some games? Because he got hurt. What is he known for getting? Hurt. That's the only thing he's known for. Nothing else. Nothing else. This man is always injured. So are you going to blame the injuries? Or are you going to blame him for always being injured? And once again, he missed the offseason because he was injured. But he's all good for week 1. So listen, when you go on that field, it's on you. It's on you to perform when you're on that field. He was on that field and he couldn't perform. He couldn't come down with those catches. First of all, the first one right in his hands. Straight in his hands. Knocked up in the air interception. Daniel Jones has seen a lot of those. Ask Evan Ingram. Ask David Sills. We've seen a lot of those where it hits him in the hands, tossed up in the air, and it's a pick. We've seen a lot of those. Oh, maybe the ball was a little tad bit behind him. When the ball hits your hands, you're supposed to catch it. When you get into the NFL and you get paid millions of dollars, when the ball touches your hands, you're supposed to catch it. And trust me, I guarantee you, Pat Mahomes expects all the receivers, when they hit his hands, to catch the ball. You can't sit here and tell me that he didn't. Kadarius Toney, all this talking for what? About how New York's going to miss you. About how New York, all the fans, the media, everybody attacking me. Listen, it came back to bite you. I'm going to remember when Juju Smith was saying that I don't know what New York was doing. KT's a dog. I'm going to remember that. Kelsey, I don't know how the Giants let him out of his building. You saw what happened. And it's not even purely for what Kadarius Toney could have been in New York. I'm not even talking about for that. Because I was hoping that he was going to be great. But trading Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller and Trey Hawkins, who are going to be 2 starters going into Sunday night, I'll take it. I don't think I'm going to lose out on that return. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. He has a ring. I've been saying that without Kadarius Toney, I think they still win that ring. I think they still do. He didn't make an impact barely in the regular season, and he made an impact in 1 game. The Super Bowl, the greatest stage of them all. You know how he made that impact? Was it catching? He had the longest punt return in Super Bowl history. Punt return. He might be a specialist when it comes to kick return, punt return, but at wide receiver, you might not see that. You really might not. The touchdown he caught in the game was a little 2-yard swing route. Come on, man. Let's be serious about this. Y'all know that you probably win the same Super Bowl without Kadarius Toney. And listen, if you want to say that, cool. He got a ring. I'm happy for him. KC, if you keep him around, he might stop you from winning another one. You guys haven't seen a full season of Kadarius Toney. Guess what? We have. And you know where half of it was? On the bench. But that's enough about Kadarius Toney. Once again, the media loves to say Daniel Jones is bad when the receivers do that. When Pat Mahomes is out there, the receivers let him down. And listen, I think the receivers let him down. But let's keep that same energy. Because once again, I've been saying it for a while. Daniel Jones would have been playing a lot better. Daniel Jones would have had better opportunities. Daniel Jones would have had all those stats that you want if we had guys that can make a difference. And I think now we do. Darren Waller, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton not being the number 1 option is only going to make him better. Isaiah Hodgins, a full year of Isaiah Hodgins. We saw what he did in a playoff game. Listen, we got some guys now. We don't have Richie James and Kadarius Toney because you see what they do. You see what happens. We're going to find out Sunday night, and we're going to find out in the season. But listen, all I can say is that you guys, if you learned anything from this video, receivers can cost you games. It cost Daniel Jones games, but we blame Daniel Jones. But you saw what happens when Mahomes, the best quarterback, best talent in the world, number 1 player in the NFL, is on the field with these guys, and they're not making plays for him. He can't do it by himself. He can't. That's going to wrap it up for this one, man. Once again, stay tuned tomorrow for tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, man. Subscribe down below. Comment down below your thoughts, man. If you haven't seen my other videos, I got more videos to the left right here. I'll catch you on the next one. Go Big Blue.